Greetings, everybody! We're back this time with a Magicka Necromancer build. Finally, I was trying a lot of builds. Never happy with how they performed, but this one, this one's special. Um, I combined a lot of really cool sets, and first when I combined them, I was like, I don't know if that's gonna work out, but honestly, this is like one of the best builds I've ever played. So I'm happy to be able to share this with you. I think you're gonna love the build. It is amazing. It's good for solo PvP. It is really good for group PvP. And yeah, that is, that's all I have to say about it. Let's just jump right in. So as you can see, 36k Magicka, that's a pretty good Magicka pool here. 30k health, also not too shabby. 20k stamina on a Magicka build, that's unheard of. That is unheard of. But, it is really important, and you will see why in a second. The regens, if you look at them, they look pretty good, but they can get up really high. Like, fully buffed, we're sitting at like 2.8k Magicka regen, 2.4k health regen, and 2.5k stamina regen. So amazing recoveries all across the board, which is the main reason this build is so good, because you can just sustain forever. The health regen really helps you with the healing, and we have a lot of healing. So having the health regen on top of strong healing is just, it's bonkers. It's crazy. And then you have the amazing Magicka recovery, the stamina recovery. So you can play a really active play style. And I love this. I love to play a really stamina intensive Magicka build. So, the big stamina pool and the stamina recovery really allow you to push it hard with blocking, dodging, breaking free. And as you see, we have a stamina gap closer, and you can just spam that stamina gap closer all you want. The spell damage fully buffed goes up to 3.5k, so not super high, but this build is not focused on damage. It still packs a good punch. It has a really simple combo. I'll show you in a second. It has a really simple combo, so if you're not into like doing super complex things, this is the build for you. I would almost say this build can carry you. If you're not that good of a player, this is a good build for you, because it does a lot for you. It keeps you in the game, which I really like. Yeah, the spell and physical resistance, not too terribly high. I mean, we can buff up here and see how far we get up. So this is 20k spell and 18k physical resistance. Not too much, but we're in a light armor build, and we're not running any tanky sets. But this build is a 1vx monster. I don't even know why. I don't even know how it works. It is so tanky all the time. I think it's just the Necro, to be honest. It's the health regen, it's the strong heals, and it's the Necro. Just makes you so hard to kill, even though you're in light armor. It's amazing. The crit resistance, 3.5k, not too shabby. We get a decent amount of spell penetration here. So if we get the pet up here, this is not too shabby. Like 13k spell penetration. This is pretty good. And yeah, I like the stats. This is such a well-rounded build. As you can see, a lot of base stats here, a lot of regen, a good amount of penetration. That's really doing it for me. For the Mundus, I chose the Apprentice. You can go for something else. You can go for more penetration if you want. You definitely don't need any of the regen Munduses, because you have so much regen. So I think Apprentice is pretty good, increases the damage, also increases your healing, which, that's the main reason I chose that. We are a stage 1 vampire. You don't have to be a vampire if you don't want to. I would say you should, because we're using Mistform on the build. Mistform is really good. It functions so well with this build. So, but if you're like really against being a vampire, yes, I allow you to drop the vampire, put something else other than Mistform. But man, Mistform is so good. So stage 1 vampire, we're taking the minimum amount of punishment here, being stage 1 and still having access to our vampire skills. So yeah, And of course, we're also using the vampire spammable. So you can use the necro spammable. It does less damage. It's not as cool in my opinion, but if you really have like a vampire allergy, I get it. You can do a similar build without vampire, but it wouldn't be the same. So yeah, we're running the Bewitched Sugar Skulls, which is a really cool food. It gives you a lot of stats across the board. It gives you the health, the stamina, and the magicka, and some health recovery, which is amazing. And it's cheap. This is a surprisingly cheap food, so you can get a lot of this for not too much money. So yeah, it's a good one. Let's move on to the sets. So the sets we're wearing are Amber Plasm. This is the first one, which is an amazing set. It gives you some offensive capabilities, but the magicka, stamina, and health recovery on the 5-piece, they're amazing. They're amazing. It's so much recovery. This is one of the best sets in the game, in my opinion. You can throw this on any magicka build. Even, let's be honest here, you can throw this on a stamina build if you wanted to. If it's not a damage-based stamina build, more like a support-based stamina build, Amber Plasm would actually go a long way. The second set that we're using is the Eternal Vigor set. That's a new set. It's really, really good. It's kind of similar to the Amber Plasm set. It's just packed with recoveries. So you get the magicka, the stamina, the health recovery on the 2, 3, 4 pieces. The 5-piece with the extra health, which I like a lot, makes you more bulky. I kind of like that. And then of course the 5-piece with the immense stamina and magicka recovery when your health is above 50%, and when it drops below 50%, you get the health recovery. So there's just so much goodness in there. I love this set. It's amazing. The next set we're using, it's another sustain set. It's the Torque of Tonal Constancy. You know it, you love it. While your stamina is less than 50%, increase your magicka recovery. While the magicka is less than 50%, increase the stam recovery. And of course, you can have both of them at the same time if both your bars are below 50%. So, yeah, what can I say? It's so much regen. I love it. It's perfect. And then, of course, we're left with one piece that we have to fill. I chose the Valkynscoria helmet for this, just for the extra spell penetration, which is new. Valkynscoria used to be extra health, and that would still be pretty good. I wouldn't mind taking extra health bonus, but we already have 30k, so we don't need this. So extra spell penetration on the one piece, I think that's a win in my book. So yeah, that's the sets. Going over the traits here, infused on the big pieces as always with Tri-Stat enchants. On the small pieces, impan with, a mix of whatever you want to get your stats to where you want them to be. Magicka would be nice. I got magicka here. Here's 1 health, and then 2 magickas here. You can put stamina on if you want more stamina, although you already have a crazy amount of stamina anyway. So feel free to mix and match the enchants to, get your stats to where you want them to be. The jewelry is arcane. This one is triune because it comes in triune, and I actually like this. It just feeds into this, the stat-based nature of this build. Brings up all the stats, really nice. You don't have to. You can make it arcane if you want. Spell damage on all the jewelry here. The sword is sharpened for more penetration. Shock damage enchant on it, just to proc the minor vulnerability. 8% extra damage. Can't hurt. Infused shield with the Tri-Stat enchant. I like to do it this way. You can put something else on it here in terms of traits. A lot of people like impan shields. I think we have enough impan, especially with the base impan that we all get now. So infused with the Tri-Stat is my go-to here. The infused Resto Staff with a weapon damage enchant. We always do it like this. I think this gives you the most bang for your buck. Getting the really nice big enchant here, 450 weapon and spell damage, just for light attacking basically. So make sure you do light attacks on the back bar when when you're weaving. You know, when you're on the back bar anyway to put on some buffs, just tap him with a quick light attack, get the extra damage. It's really, really nice. Trust me. And that is the sets so far. Let's take a look at the skills. So we're of course running the Stalking Blast Bones. This is our, well, main burst damage skill. You know, it hits pretty hard. It's a little tricky to use sometimes, but it can hit multiple people. And yeah, like when it hits, and it hits like a truck. And I really like this, you know. Blastbone still has some issues sometimes where it just doesn't really want to go. But, you know, when it hits, it's really, really good. The next skill, Degeneration. This is, you know, you can call it a dot, but it's mainly to get the major sorcery bonus, which the Necro has, Necro is struggling with getting the major sorcery or the major brutality buff because it's not built into their class kits, so you kind of have to, like, you know, supplement with other skills or skill lines to get the buff. But Degeneration is like the easiest way to just get a spell damage buff, in my opinion, and you get, of course, a mediocre dot on top of it, so that's not bad. The next skill we're running is Arterial Burst. This is, you know, the vampire spammable. It deals a decent amount of damage. It can hit for more damage when you are lower health, and, you know, when you're under 50% health, it will always crit, so that can give you an advantage, because you're kind of tanky on this build, so you can actually allow yourself to drop below 50% and then get the bonus and really hit people hard with this. It's a pretty cheap skill. You can well, just light attack, Arterial Burst, Weave. You can even bash on this build because you have so much stamina and stam regen. So if you want to do like a light attack skill bash combo, you can definitely do that. And that's what I was talking about earlier. You know, the combo on this build is so easy. Blast Bones, and then you spam Arterial Burst. Blast Bones is gone, you recast the Blast Bones, and then you spam Arterial Burst. That's your combo. You know, for gap closing purposes and CC purposes, we have Invasion. Why do we have a stamina gap closer? Well, because we don't have a Magicka one. So we kind of need something here. And I think a gap closer is quite important, especially Invasion is one of the best gap closers because it's a 2-in-1 skill. It is a gap closer and it knocks people down, which is really nice. Having both in one, I like this a lot. Since you can use Invasion like point blank, it doesn't have a minimum distance anymore. This changed a couple patches ago. So you can use this like up close when you're fighting someone face to face. You can just tap the Invasion button, just knock them down real quick. And on this build, we have so much stamina and stam regen that you can literally spam Invasion on people. I wouldn't recommend it, but if someone's trying to get away, like a Sork, just running and streaking, you just go for the Invasion spam, and you can always catch them. They can't run away. So yeah, it's really nice. I love Invasion anyway. Kind of gives me some old-timey feels, because back in the day, everyone was using Invasion, you know? That's just how it was back in the day. So using this kind of gives me some nostalgic feels. I like it a lot. The next skill is Inner Light. This is, you know, we get some extra max Magicka, which is, you know, one of the main reasons I choose this. But, of course, we also get the Major Prophecy bonus here, which is 10% extra crit chance. You can't say no to that. We're not really using this actively, but you can for, you know, just pulling out a Nightblade. When they cloak right next to you, you pull them back out. But it's a pretty expensive skill, so, you know, I would limit the use of this if you can. For the ultimate, I've chosen the Dawnbreaker of Smiting because it's a cheap skill. It hits still pretty hard. It has a dot attached to it, and it knocks everybody in the radius down here. And, you know, Necro kind of struggles with getting good ultimates here, because the Frozen Colossus is really expensive, so you don't want to use this as your main ultimate. The Bone Goliath is even more expensive, and, you know, it's kind of a different thing. You know, it's a transformation. You turn into the Goliath and you stay there for 20 seconds. And while you're in there, you can't gain ultimate. So yeah, I don't really like using that too much. And this one is even more expensive and is basically just a support ultimate. So the Necro just doesn't have good options for ultimates, for offensive ultimates at least. So I think Dawnbreaker Smiting is the best choice here, because honestly, like, getting hit by a Blast Bones followed by a Dawnbreaker and then getting these nice arterial bursts in, that's a lot of damage, and a lot of people struggle with this. So, and you know, it allows you to play the AoE game, which I always like. This is AoE, this is AoE, so you can potentially do a lot of damage to a group of people when they're close together. So that's always useful. Let's look at the back bar here. We got the Beckoning Armor, which is our main armor buff, and it pulls people in when they hit you, which, you know, it's a little plus. People get a little, I don't know, disoriented, I would say. When they get pulled in, they just, you know, it's kind of a weird feeling. So that's a little plus, but that's all it does, basically. The next one is Rapid Regen. This is an amazing heal. I love this. That's why I went for the Resto Staff, because I really wanted the Rapid Regen. It's such a strong heal. It really synergizes well with the build, because we also have the Spirit Guardian, which is also a pretty strong heal, and it absorbs 10% of the damage that hits you. And these two in combination are so strong in terms of healing. And then when you need more healing, we have the Resistant Flash, which is a massive burst heal. You apply the Minor Defile to yourself, so you're like self-heal debuffing when you're using this. But I've always used this on my Magicka Necro builds, and I can tell you from experience, it's actually not a big thing to do that. You know, you can Minor Defile yourself. It doesn't really matter. You have so much healing anyway that putting a Minor Defile on you is, you don't really notice it. And of course, when you heal yourself while you're like low health, you get a lot of extra armor, you know, because it says you grant the target spell and physical resistance equal to half the amount healed for 3 seconds. So if you're really low health and you heal a lot, you get a nice big heal crit. That means you can get a lot of extra armor, which makes you tanky for 3 seconds. So that really helps, and probably is also one of the reasons this build is so tanky, even though it's not meant to be tanky, really. The next skill, of course, is Elusive Mist. We talked about this. This is an amazing tool for 1vxing, because you can just absorb so much damage. And since you have so much stamina recovery, this is really, really nice, because you can just stay in Elusive Mist for a couple seconds and just let your stamina recover. And since we have so much recovery, your stamina bar fills up really, really quick. So just sitting in mist form for a couple seconds really does wonders for your stamina bar. So I really like this. Tapping in and out of it, it's really nice. It doesn't cost much anymore. It's only 900 Magicka per second now. So, you know, if you just want to do the mist form flick, when you see like damage coming in, you just want to go in mist form real quick, absorb it, and pop right back out and go, you know, about your business. It's really nice. You know, and the ultimate on the back bar, the Glacial Colossus, like I said, really expensive. It takes a while to get it up, but once it's up, you can just put it down, especially if you can combine this with a Blast Bones. So you always want to make sure you have a Blast Bones cast, and the Blast Bone is about to hit the group, and then, or maybe just a single person, and then you put the Big Daddy on top and let it rip. That's a lot of damage. People get knocked down on the last hit, so... And you get the Major Vulnerability buff, which is a big deal. 30% extra damage for 8 seconds. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That really helps. So yeah, that's the skills, everybody. Let's look at the champion points. So in the Retri, 51 Ironclad, 77 Resistant, 43 in Hardy and Elemental Defender, 56 in Quick Recovery, you know, get the extra healing, 37 in Warlord, 19 in Sprinter, 22 in Mooncalf, you know, we want some extra stamina recovery, and 56 in Arcanist because you want a lot of Magicka recovery, and then 43 in Tenacity. You could go for healthy if you want. I think we have enough health regen, but you know, you can get a little more if you want. I like the Tenacity more because, you know, I'm doing heavy attacks anyway, so that just plays into the sustain. Since we have a stamina weapon and a Magicka weapon, we can do both heavy attacks and, you know, really get our pools up. So I like the extra heavy attack restore a lot. 56 in Tumbling because, you know, we're dodging a lot, and only 37 in Shadow Ward because we're already wearing the Sword and Board, so we already get the cheaper block. And whenever I have like Sword and Board on and it's not focused on blocking, I like to just invest more into Tumbling just to even it out a little bit and bring the costs of the two a little closer together. And that's really nice because we can block a lot and we can dodge a lot. You know, we can dodge like a stamina build basically, because, you know, technically if you look at it, we're kind of almost a stamina build. So yeah, it's really nice. In the blue tree, 56 in Elfborn, 56 in Elemental Expert, and 77 in Spell Resistance, in Spell Erosion. And then the rest, 81 in Master at Arms. Just get the nice big burst damage. And that's it. That's it. That's the CP. I hope you guys like the build. I had a ton of fun playing this. This feels really good. It's so tanky. It's so sustainy. It just, you know, you feel like a one-man army, basically. So, yeah, give it a try. The sets are amazing. You should get the sets anyway, if you haven't. You can put them on all kinds of builds, so putting them all together just pushes it really over the edge. Give it a try. Let me know what you think. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll be back with another video soon. Also, check out the PvP footage that I have for this build, which is going to be uploaded in multiple videos after this one. So have fun, guys, and I'll see you next time.